everyone. I want to introduce you to Joel. He's a longtime friend, and when I say longtime friend, I'm saying we go way back. We're talking first grade, awkward buggy tooth stage, all the way to high school where we spent a lot of mornings sitting in that car listening to music right before the bell. And even through college where I think this was the day we were supposed to meet up at Cantina Louie and he ended up at some other restaurant. Typical Joel. At least he's pretty. But for the past 6 years, he's been living in Manhattan, New York, utilizing his talents as an on and off Broadway audition pianist. And while it's been a couple years since I've seen him in person, and he's miles and miles away from Jacksonville now, we always agree on one thing.
Wait, I laughed because because you were mean to me when we were kids. I forgot about that.
Well, I'm glad that I reminded you. Okay. I'm not mean to you now, though, right?
No.
Okay. Anyway, so let's begin.
Okay.
I chose you, first of all, because I feel like you would have really good insight. And you are living in a place that is very greatly affected in the United States.
Literally right in the center of it.
Yeah, why? Like, you see all the pictures, and I mean, New York is known as the city that never sleeps. And it seems that you guys have finally got some time.
Actually, it's pretty wild. Like, I haven't gone out in the last couple of days, but when the quarantine first started, I would like pop out on just like, to go for a walk, and I'm west
When
enough.
you first started, sorry, when was that?
So we started, actually, I can tell you.
You have like lines on the wall for each day.
I've been marking my days. No, because I can tell you exactly when Broadway shut down. Yeah, so it shut down on Thursday. So my first day was really March 13th. Oh my God.
March 13th? Oh my goodness. You poor thing.
Yeah. So we're going on, I guess, 3 weeks now. We're going into the third week, I think.
Okay, well, continue with what you were saying.
So I would just like step outside just to go on a walk, like away from people, but just to get some air. And you walk around and, there's only a couple people, like you'll see someone like over on the street over there or something, but like really no one walking the streets, which is crazy for New York. Mm-hmm. And then all of the storefronts, everything, the restaurants, everything, it's just like, they're all closed. They're just like a piece of paper hanging in the window of all of them, just being like closed until further notice or stuff like that. Just like handwritten things. And it's wild. It's like a ghost town, and it's sad because I'm in Hell's Kitchen. I'm in like the Midtown area, like kind of in the heart of the city. So I've never seen it quiet.
Right. I mean, New York is this bustling place. You're usually like tackling people to get through the streets, and then all of a sudden you have room to walk to the other side. Are people like making the effort to stay 6 feet away, or is it?
For the most part, if you pass someone, like people will kind of like, keep their distance a little bit. People are trying to be kind of like respectful of everyone. And the grocery stores, like if you have to make like a grocery run or something, they only let a couple people in at a time. Mm-hmm. And everyone waits in line outside, like 6 feet apart.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, well, continue on with the question. So before this all happened, like what were your thoughts when word of this first came out? Like before quarantine started, before people started establishing rules, what were your thoughts about what was going on?
I mean, I definitely didn't have a grasp of how big it would get. We started seeing what would happen in Italy, and I was watching the news and what was happening in Italy, and that was freaky. And then realizing that, if it came here, it would definitely hit New York because, so many people in and out of here, and we have so many people in such a small space. So I think like, I work in the theater community here, and people started getting nervous about that. And there was talk about, what would happen with the Broadway shows, which is specifically like while I work, I'm a pianist. And so I started to worry about that, I think like the week before the shutdown happened. So like the
like
week
before, March at this point.
Yeah, like first, second week of March, I started being like, oh, this could really this could shut us down. And I texted a friend of mine and I was like, I'm a little nervous. Like what happens? What if they close the Broadway shows? What if we don't have jobs? And he goes, Joel, that'll never happen. He was like, that'll never happen. Why do you think that? Don't worry about it. It's going to be okay.
Shut down Broadway? What is
Yeah, exactly. It's never happened before.
Yeah,
and then days later, they did. So it was crazy. I mean, I definitely didn't have a grasp until I think that week was when, you know, all of a sudden people started freaking out. People started buying up everything in the stores and stuff. And that was when the lines started outside of Trader Joe's and like the other grocery stores. The week before it happened, you would go there and people were starting to stock up.
I feel like New York is kind of the equivalent of Italy in the States right now in terms of how things are happening, which is crazy. Because I always joke that if the world were going to end, it would hit New York or it would hit Los Angeles. And here we are with New York. I mean, LA is kind of following suit, but you guys are definitely.
But really us, because I mean, one, there's so much in and out, so much travel that comes in and out of here from everywhere. But also, again, we're all on top of each other here.
You guys are clustered. Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are the rules in your city at the moment? Like, do you guys have procedures for doing the basics? You kind of touched on grocery shopping and stuff like that, but are there like specific things that New Yorkers know?
Yeah, so we are allowed to leave our apartments. We're not like locked in here. But it is strongly recommended that we do not. And everyone seems to be heeding that, really, for the most part. It really seems like everyone's heeding it. Everyone's staying in. You can go outside if you want to go on a walk or if you need to like run and get groceries or something, but it's recommended that you stay away from people. So it's just mostly strong recommendations. I have not seen, because I haven't actually really gone, but I have heard that now if you're walking around like in the park or something and you're near a group, if you're too close together, security or like police will drive by and just be like, make sure you guys are 6 feet apart.
Okay, so there are people like parading around and checking.
Yeah, they're starting to like enforce that. Everything that's not an essential business is closed. So grocery stores are open. Some restaurants are open. A lot of them are closed, but some are open for like takeout only. So the restaurant that I eat pretty much all my meals at is they are open for takeout only. So you can place an order, drop in, and they have like tables kind of barricading the way into the restaurant, and they'll just kind of give it to you over that.
What restaurant is this? Let's give them a shout out.
Westville and Hell's Kitchen. Westville and
Hell's Kitchen. Thank you for feeding my friend.
Love them. Thank you for giving me meals. I mean, I have most of my meals there when we're not in quarantine. So
right. I mean, workers don't cook; they eat out. Like
I don't cook. It's crazy. I was worried about not having an income during all of this, but now I'm like, well, I've stocked up on food, so I might actually come out even because I'm not spending all my money on eating out.
There's a positive to all.
I'm not making any money, but I'm also not spending it.
So again, you kind of touched on it. You said that you're in the arts, but how exactly has your career been affected by this?
So specifically what I do, I'm a pianist for like Broadway, off-Broadway auditions. So I play, when I go to work, I can play for a couple hundred people a day. And people just come in and out.
Are these 100 auditions a day?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Everybody.
From 10 to 6, people just come in, they get like 2-minute slots basically, and that's what it is. And it's not like it's not every day, it's whenever we schedule auditions. So I have a flexible schedule. But now that no shows are happening, no shows are auditioning, so I don't have work in that regard. But I've been really lucky in that my union, because I'm part of the musicians union, has made sure that I have been paid for the canceled work. And
that's great.
Yeah, and I've also gotten monetary relief through the Actors Fund, through the unions. That's
amazing. So if you're not in the union, are you kind of just shit out of luck?
I think so. I mean, unless you're the producing team on whatever show you're working on is really nice. wasn't in the union for a long time because I just didn't, there's not, especially with the musicians union, you don't like strictly have to join for what I do. And so I was out, I wasn't part of it for a long time. And then I was, interested in getting healthcare and stuff. So I joined, I joined the other year. And it's so funny, up until this pandemic hit, I was kind of thinking like, do I need to be spending like money on my dues? Like they don't do much for me right now. And then this hit and I was like, oh, thank God I'm in the union.
Can you imagine? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Is it commonplace for people to do that in your field? To join the union?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because a lot of our work is really technically like freelance stuff. So it's really the only way we get kind of like benefits, healthcare, or make sure that we get paid for things.
Well, good for you for joining. That's amazing. And it's funny because you were just thinking like, I don't need to do this. Like,
literally, my dues came for the year in December, and I was like, I don't know. I haven't really been using my union benefits. Like, maybe I won't pay. And then at the beginning of January, I was like, whatever, it's not that much. I'll just pay it. And thank God I did.
Wow. I'm happy for you. That's nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So, would you describe yourself as more of an introvert or an extrovert?
Definitely an introvert.
An introvert. So are you enjoying this time then?
Yeah, I mean, I've been preparing for this my whole life. I truly, when I'm not working, I will go, I live right by Lincoln Center and I love Lincoln Center. So I'll go walk around there and have some like peace time, or I'll see a show. But other than that, I'm generally at home, like in bed watching Netflix.
So you really have been training for this your whole life. You're ready for this. You're enjoying it.
It's really like I just have a lot of days off with no work in sight, which is not comforting, but
right. But I mean, it's not like a huge change from your everyday lifestyle. I thought of you also when I heard that Broadway was shutting. I know that this isn't technically Broadway, but I remember how you would tell me like you would just go out by yourself, you would get dressed up, and then you would go to the opera and then enjoy a night doing that. So
I was actually the night that the shutdown. So Broadway shut down on Thursday. Thursday evening was when or Thursday like afternoon was they announced it. I was supposed to go to the opera that night, and the opera was the first thing that shut down in New York. It closed that morning.
Oh, really?
And I was supposed to go that evening, so I was a little bummed about that.
That just shows who they care about. They're like, opera, bye.
But you know what? The Metropolitan Opera, which is at Lincoln Center, has been streaming their archives. They film all their shows live in HD, and they're streaming them every night, which is pretty cool. So
do you get dressed up in a tux?
No. You know that I've thought of it. I was like, that's a cute idea, but I don't like to put effort into anything. So I just sit in my sweatpants and watch.
In your sweatpants and your wife beater shirt, and you're good to go. Exactly. The arts appreciates you and the attire that you bring to it, Joel. So, what are let's say what are three everyday things that you miss doing that you can't do anymore?
Being able to like really walk around the city. I would go, because I live right by Lincoln Center. Like I said, I go walk there a lot, and I walk there almost every night. The like fountains lit up, and it's just kind of like my peace time. So not really being able to do that. And the plaza is all blocked off now too. So even if I did go on a walk, I couldn't go over there. So I miss that. I miss my job. I really love my job. Like when I have to go to work, I'm so excited to go, especially when we have like a full long day. I like playing the piano. So
wow, someone who likes what they do.
Yeah, I'm really lucky in that. So I really, really like my job. I miss that. And I miss my two of my best friends, Seth and Glenn, live right in my neighborhood. Seth lives across the street from me, and Glenn lives right around the corner. And a bunch of us, all my best friends, Glenn's apartment is like big and nice, and it's kind of the apartment that we go hang out with at like, on a weeknight or whatever. And so I really miss that, because we have like, movie night or whatever. And Glenn and I were in the middle of watching Breaking Bad. We were on, I think, season 5. I'd never seen it. So we had gotten all the way through to season 5. And so I miss that.
Are you watching it without him, or are you
No,
being
it's not fun to do it alone. Yeah.
Okay.
So
That's
I'm getting once we're all allowed to like hang back together, we'll all go over there and it'll be really
So
great.
you guys are really heeding this then, the social distancing thing. Because I mean, here in Jacksonville, people are still like, hey, come over to my house, or like, hey, let's go biking together. I'm like, isn't that defeating the purpose?
I know my siblings and I keep talking to my parents, being like, my mom the other day, I talked to her on the phone and she was like, yeah, we're being really good. We're staying at home. And then she's like, I went to 3 stores today. And I was like, this is not what it is.
Jacksonville's like, I just don't understand what's going on. There's a lot of movement outside. There's tons of movement.
I think my parents are starting to take it seriously.
But it's the thing, it's the same rules that you guys have, so I don't understand why they're not getting it.
I mean, I don't know what it's two things. I think one, because we're so on top of each other here, we're just so much more aware of how much we come into contact with each other.
What's more noticeable?
Yeah, it's much more noticeable. And then also, I just think, at least here for New York, like our governor has been coming on line at like 11 a.m. every single day and giving like a conference and talking about what's going on and updating us. And he's been really, really, really great with just providing information, what's going on, keeping everyone calm, but also letting everyone know like how serious this is.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes on every day at 11 and does that. And I think that's been a big part of it.
Well, that's good that people are taking that seriously, because
Yeah.
I feel like when our governor talks, people are like, whatever.
Yeah. So we also, I mean, I think you guys, you're, what it just happened where it was
the stay at home
just happened like yesterday or today.
It's gonna go into effect on Friday.
Oh, okay, yeah. So ours happened like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so, but the thing is like the rules of what they're saying are exactly what we're doing, except it's official now. So I
mean, that was like what it was for us. We all started staying home, everything closed, and then they were like, all right, this is a stay-at-home thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember there was a lot of confusion when that first happened. All of my friends, everyone was kind of texting back and forth being like, wait, are we allowed to go out then? Wait, what's the difference? Because we already are staying home. But it was just everyone was kind of already doing it. But
and then like the non-essential businesses are like officially closed now.
Yeah. And that was a big thing. That was a really big thing when all of that closed. Because now, I mean, everyone is just, literally everyone's at home except for, the healthcare workers and the people who work in food service and grocery.
I feel bad for the ones that still have to take the subway and stuff. I mean, that's their only way, but it just seems like counterproductive for them to get on there. But
it is. I mean, it's definitely like, it's pretty amazing. So New York does this thing. I don't know if you've heard about it, but every night at 7 p.m., people like lean out their windows and they clap and cheer for all of the service industry people, everyone who are still working and helping, which is pretty awesome. And it's something that really, that there's a very community, I think, because we're all on top of each other, there's a very communal aspect about living in New York. Mm-hmm. And so it's something that's really, every night I hear that and like lean out and join, and it makes you feel like, it kind of makes you feel connected to everyone.
That's something charming though about New York, how you guys can kind of just
lean out the windows and yell at each other.
That was the other question I was going to ask. I was like, what are some positive things that you've seen come out of it? And it seems like you are seeing this like community in New York, whereas usually, I mean, New York's a big community, obviously, but people are kind of like their own business. I don't really want to hear about this, but now everybody is kind of unified. And you see the videos of people like rapping to Biggie, and then you see people like playing their instruments out the window, like Italy. That's what I'm saying. It's kind of like the equivalent of Italy. Is that happen a lot in your neighborhood, even in Hell's Kitchen? Are people like singing outside of their windows?
I haven't noticed. I'm also on the interior of my building, so if I want to hear what's happening on the street, I have to like go into another room that I'm not usually in.
Okay.
But there is like a very communal thing happening, and especially like being in the Broadway community and the theater community, there's People are making videos, doing like live streams, like trying to collaborate that way. So there's a lot of that happening, which is really nice. Two of my siblings work in the fitness industry here in the city, and all the trainers are like rotating, doing at-home workouts, like live streaming them every day, taking turns so people can do that, and that's pretty cool.
Okay. So, besides Netflixing and staying home, how else are you keeping yourself entertained?
I wrote out a schedule. Oh, I'll show you.
What a schedule!
I have a little
schedule.
So I have a little. I wrote out. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, it's kind of dark.
No, it's dark.
Oh, well, there's a whiteboard there, and it says workout, brunch, shower, practice, dinner, show. So like I just kind of heed that schedule each day to try and keep sane. So I like wake up in the morning or in the afternoon because I've really been sleeping a lot, and I'll work out, and then I'll have like a late breakfast, and then I'll shower, and then maybe like practice some piano. But I actually haven't been really good about that. I'll like play for 2 seconds and then be like, okay, I'm bored, and then I just go watch TV. But it's just kind of like keeping that structure has really helped. And I have to say, like the past 2 weeks have gone by pretty quickly. It hasn't been
gone by fast. That's surprising for you to.
Yeah, and I think it's because one, I'm sleeping in so late, so like half my day's gone already by the time I really get up. But I think it's also because I've been keeping a schedule, and I do stay up really late. My sleep schedule's totally messed up. That's why I've been sleeping, and I stay up really, really late now. And I try not to, but I can't help it. I'm just like awake. But also my best friends, we have a little like bestie like Zoom session that we do pretty much every night. Someone will send a link, and we'll just all kind of hop in and out as we're doing whatever we're doing that night and just chatting. And it's kind of like when we all go over to our friend's house and hang out in his living room. But
maybe that's why it seems so natural to you, because you've been doing this every single night. I was like, hey, Joel's really good at this.
Yeah, it's true. I've been talking on Zoom so much lately. But it's kept us all connected, and kept us like socializing. And it's also kind of been this regular thing to look forward to. My sister did a live workout today that I did with her. And today was hard. Like I woke up today and I really did not want to get out of bed. I was just like, I'm just going to stay here all day. But I got up so that I could do that workout with her, like on Instagram or whatever. And hearing her voice, like shouting out, like teaching the combos and everything felt so normal, because I take her class normally during the non-quarantine time. Mm-hmm. And so it just felt so normal, and it was so like calming, weirdly, hearing her like scream out combos over her blasting music.
Pick it up. You're like,
yeah, exactly. But it was so like, I was like, oh, this is normal life. This is normal life. And so for that like 45 minutes, it was really nice.
It's crazy how we have to trick our mind into feeling like that. Or maybe it's just subconsciously like, this is your sister, like this is part of your routine anyway. So yeah. It's just a screen in the way at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
So, do you feel like you've learned anything about yourself during this? Or is it more like, I'm just ready to get through this shit, let's go?
I mean, I don't know. I'd have to think about that question, but I think really I'm just like, I'm ready to get back to life. Yeah. I feel like, this is a big thing. This is a really big deal. Certainly our generation hasn't ever had anything that has affected our lives in this, the last biggest thing that we've seen was 9/11, mm-hmm. But it didn't shut the world down for an indeterminate amount of months, and that's, I think what's crazy and scary about this is we have no idea how long it could go on. And so this is a new thing for everyone, but I think, and it's so cliche, but I really do feel like this has taught me just like how lucky we are to be like living the lives that we live and everything,
I don't think that's cliche at all. I feel like especially with this generation and the one after us, they just don't appreciate what we have. I mean, and this is a spoiled generation. So
Yeah.
In all honesty, I feel like when the world goes back to normal, everybody's just going to go back to the way that they were. But I hope that people took something from it. I don't know what, or if it's going to really change anything, but I don't think it's cliche at all. I totally agree with you.
It's actually one of my coworkers. He posted a picture today of the casting company that I play for. He's one of the assistants of the company, and he posted a picture of all of them today, and just was writing about how much he missed them, and he was like, oh, you know, I'll never hate our like 8:30 a.m. staff meetings or whatever, and it's just so true. Like, I look back on everything and I'm like, oh God, like, you know, I before all this happened, I was kind of like, you know, I was doing my job and going through life, and things have been great. You know, I love my job and I make money and I live here in the city and things are great. But I was getting a little kind of bored and complacent and trying to figure out what do I want to do next? Where do I want to go with this? And now that this has happened, I'm just like, I'll take it back. I'll take it back.
Yeah,
you know,
take it back.
Yeah.
Because you were truly happy, and like it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with like wanting to plan for the future, but you were getting to the point where you're like,
I was trying to look for like, I was trying to figure out what like the upward momentum in like my career, like what is upward growth as far as like what I do, like what's the next step. And
but you're like, I'll play the piano for you, damn it. Just give me back.
You know, but I think it's also given me time to think about, again, like where I want to go and what I want to do with this. And, you know, when I have like game plans kind of turning in my mind for when we do eventually get out of this, I'm like, okay, you know, if Broadway bounces back, totally fine, great. I'm going to jump right back into playing auditions and like life is going to be great and I'll be so happy. But if not, you know, like here are backup plans. And I obviously have a lot of time right now to think about all that.
So much time. So that leads into my last question, and you kind of touched on it, but what are you most excited to do when this thing is over? Like the doors open, the sun is shining. What is Joel going to do?
I want this sounds so cliche too. I just want to like hug my friends. Like, I just want to see them. I want to be in physical contact with other human beings. That sounds weird, but like, it's so true because I'm alone in my apartment for how long. You know? And so I want to be able to like, you know, just like see other people. I want to see my friends. I want to go to Lincoln Center. I want to like go on my night walks and like have my peace time. And I want to see the people I work with and play, you know, the piano and everything.
You want to get back to regular life and you just want to touch people.
Yeah. I just want to get back to regular life and just like be so happy that I'm there.
I agree. And it'll happen. Maybe not soon, but it'll happen. In all truthfulness, it's not going to happen soon, but it will. We'll see that shining light.
Yeah.
So lastly, can you tell me an inspirational quote?
Oh God.
That'll help us get us through this.
That'll help us. I don't think I can. I don't think I really
can, everyone.
I don't know any quotes.
Pick one up.
We can do it.
I feel so much better now.
I just ruined the whole interview.
It was going so well. We can do it. You know what? Let's say it together. It was so good. Ready? 1, 2, 3. We can do it. I love it. Perfect. Okay. That's it. We did it. Let me stop recording it, and then I just want to talk to you for a little bit.
Okay.
Thanks for doing this. You're so cute. Okay, let's